The European Union, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Centre, and the Centre for Civilians in Conflict, CIVIC, have called for the strengthening of policy and protection of civilians in Nigeria. They made the call at the Protection of Civilians Champions workshop organized by Legislative Advocacy Centre and CIVIC in Abuja. The organizers said the aim of the workshop was to bring together all protection of civilians champions to form a stronger network to overcome protection of civilians challenges.
It allows the European Union to assist communities to amplify their protection concerns through selected champions who can influence higher level decisions as it relates to civilian protection and civilian harm mitigations. Over the past 30 months, CIVIC has identified and continued to engage a total of 45 protection of civilians champions from the local, state, and national levels on advocacy actions towards the promotion of the POC and civilian harm mitigation through our support. We are pleased to have funded this initiative, and we intend to continue to do so in the future to better support the Nigerian government on projects and programs that contribute to the protection of civilians.
Executive Director of Legislative Advocacy Centre said harm could be reduced by strict adherence to rules regulating the use of force.
These activities are looking to build on its own roles as a neutral intermediary by supporting community self-advocacy and organizing information sessions on legal rights. Government must assent to policy and propose legislation on protection of civilians, as well as present it in a manner that is of structural gaps. I urge you, therefore, to strengthen sanctions that hold perpetrators to account. The experiences and the need of civilian communities who suffer daily brutalities of the armed conflict must be incorporated into measures that protect them.
Country Director of CIVIC said the organization was working to promote protection of civilians by engaging with key military institutions to influence their curriculum and reinforce the protection of civilians and civilian harm mitigation.
CIVIC has also engaged communities in the Northeast by empowering them to the point of establishing 6 functional community protection committees, CPCs, made up of about 300 community members drawn from across whole communities and camps that continue to facilitate appropriate engagement with key security agencies to advocate for their communities' protection needs and the rest. In addition, we've also trained 603 community militias, including vigilantes, CZTF, that's the Civilian Joint Task Force, and hunters on protection of civilians principles to provide them with basic knowledge on understanding civilian-centered protection.
A representative of the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, said there was need for concerted efforts to prioritize the protection of civilians during armed conflicts to ensure that their rights were guaranteed.
The work of CIVIC, CISLAC, and the Commission in coming up with the national policy on protection of civilians and civilian harm mitigation in armed conflicts. I am therefore confident that this meeting will provide an avenue for us all to critically examine the respective roles that we should play in the protections of civilians in Nigeria.
The Director General of Borno State Emergency Management Agency expressed optimism that the meeting would provide key suggestions on protection of civilians.
We need sustainable solutions, and we also need that further lives are not lost, further deformities are not formed, because the more conflicts are going on, some they will sustain life-damaging injuries that will remain on crippled chairs or crutches. So we want to have very amicable sort of conversations that will bring very positive impact. So we believe that from the international community down to national, down to the state level, we'll have very robust engagement